Social media. How many of you have dipped a toe in social media? And you're like, yeah, we post. How often? Once a week. But when we have time. I get it. I've been there too. What I can tell you is, why do you want to invest time and energy and maybe money into a social media strategy and a consistent presence and campaign? Because you're trying to build trust. There's that trust again. You're trying to create a tribe. And it's before and after the sale. So I can't say enough about that. It's also the perfect place for listening. I learned something from Gary Vaynerchuk, not personally, because we're not friends yet, but he said when he got started and created Wine Library for his dad, he went on Twitter and for like a whole year did nothing but listen. And he said, I learned so much about what people cared about when it came to wine. It was gold. So I recommend using social media to listen to your audience as well. It isn't just you talking. It's you listening and then talking, and then they talk back. So it's a two-way conversation. So you want to be engaging and present. Strategy, no one size fits all approach here. No cookie cutter. And I say tailor for where your audience is. You don't have to be on every social media platform to be effective. So if, for example, if your people aren't really hanging on Instagram, don't waste your time. Focus on LinkedIn. Focus on Facebook, if that's where they are. A lot of contractors hang out on Facebook, believe it or not. That's also an audience to try to tap into if that is your customer's customer. See where I'm going with that? So it's like coming in from underneath and pulling it through, those through sales. So let's see, content, we're back to that. I can't talk enough about it. It is truly king. And the way to figure out, well, what the heck do we talk about? What do we become known for? Well, there's a graphic that we use, and I should have put it in this presentation, your values plus their values. And it's that little sweet spot in the middle. That's the shared values. That's the stuff you want to talk about. That's what they care about. You also want to map it to the buying cycle. Again, back to that slide I showed you earlier, is the person you're talking to in the state of awareness? Are they in the state of repurchase? That's a very different place to be. So you want to talk to them in a sensible way that makes sense for where they're at. There's nothing worse than, and I'm gonna use a major telephone company as an example, but I won't say who they are, that they'll reach out to me constantly and act like I don't have an account with them, even though I've had one for 20 years. So it's really off-putting. So don't do that. And let's see, questions, calls to action. You want to make sure that your content is engaging. You don't want to shout at people with all caps in an entire post. You don't need giant paragraphs either. You want to break it up. This goes for social media, this goes for website, and this goes for your email. Imagine that 60% of the people consuming your content are doing it on their phone. So pay attention to the people that you like to hear from, right? I'm a big fan of looking at other examples and saying, hey, I like that. There's a lot of breathing room in between that content. I feel like I can consume it easy. See what I'm, where I'm going with that? So it's really important to pay attention to spacing and really give them breathing room. And if you can cut some things out and be more succinct, definitely do that. Let's see, calendar and schedule. I highly recommend that you create a content calendar and a schedule. You can do this in Excel. It doesn't have to be fancy. And you can keep track of, hey, the Super Bowl's coming up. Maybe we can talk about something that has to do with that. Hey, like today is Giving Tuesday. Maybe our customers might care about Giving Tuesday. Maybe we're doing something for Giving Tuesday and we're going to talk about that. So it makes it so easy, especially on days or weeks when you're like, I'm not really sure what we're going to focus on this week. So turn to your content calendar and schedule that. We use something called Sprout Social, and it is incredibly easy to schedule your posts ahead of time. It makes life a lot easier, especially if you're a one-woman or one-man show or you have an in-house person that's helping you. it will free up so much time, and it's that proactive versus reactive kind of thing. And then use their language, keep it human, and you want to have a protocol. So plan for the negative, especially with social media. So if we get a negative comment, how are we going to respond? And please don't hide or delete it. You want to respond. You want to engage with people. You want to say, hey, I hear you. And I appreciate you giving us your honest, even if they're, some people are just out on social media to bitch, but our point is we want to plan for it and we want to handle it carefully and genuinely.